Optimove, the leader in positionless marketing, frees marketing teams from the limitations of fixed roles, boosting campaign efficiency by 88%. Its positionless marketing platform delivers 3 transformative powers: data power for real-time customer insights, creative power for instant asset creation, and optimization power for self-optimizing campaigns. With Optimove, you can do anything and be everything. Go to optimove.com/total retail to get your first month free when buying Optimove's positionless marketing platform.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail, and I'm pleased to be joined on today's episode by Matt McCabe, the Executive Vice President and Chief Merchandising Officer at Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm excited to have Matt on the show to talk about Academy Sports and Outdoors, a couple of exciting news items coming from that brand, the launch of its Jordan brand product within its stores, also the expansion of its store footprint, and just kind of a little bit of a look ahead for what's to come from Academy Sports and Outdoors. So, Matt, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I'm happy to be here.
So I alluded to the fact that Academy recently introduced the Jordan brand into its 145 of its store locations and also its e-commerce site. So tell us a little bit about why this was such an important development for the company.
You know what? Jordan has been one of the most requested brands we've had from our customers over the last 5 or 6 years. We see it as the number one requested item on our website that we can't fulfill in terms of sales. And so we're really proud to finally bring this brand into our stores and give our customers what they want. But I think more importantly, it's an athletic brand that's become a symbol not only for great performance, but also for style. And that checks an important box for us because it's something that our customers can wear when they're on the basketball court or on the field, but also wear with their jeans or in the hallways of their schools. So that's important too. And then I think third, for us as a value retailer, it provides a better and best level product in terms of price points that we don't own in a lot of our sports athletic apparel right now. And that allows us to stretch the customer a little higher with what they spend in the store.
So I mentioned, I believe, 145 store locations. Is that correct for the Jordan brand product?
That's correct.
That's roughly half of your store fleet, correct?
Yes, it is.
So maybe tell me a little bit about the process for identifying the stores that would carry this product, and also put it on the online site as well.
Sure. So when we look to bring in new brands into our assortment or into the fold within our stores, we tend to start a little bit smaller, and we want to scale those as fast as we can once we see how well they work. And so it was important for us to test the brand in stores where we thought it would have the most relevancy. And also it was important for the Jordan brand to put the brand in stores where they have greater access to customers that maybe they're not servicing today. So for us, because we have such a large percentage of Hispanic consumers, we started the brand in a lot of our stores that address that consumer segment a little bit more broadly. And also in stores where we have a heavy basketball penetration of sales. And we also looked at our Nike sales as well to see what some of our best Nike stores were. So we started there. I believe that in the future, this will be one that we can scale pretty quickly, but that's how we got started.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. From a merchandising perspective, how were and maybe I'll ask kind of two things here. The Jordan brand, obviously, great awareness, right? Consumer awareness of the brand. So I don't know that you need to create awareness around the Jordan brand, but more awareness that now Academy is carrying the Jordan brand goods. Tell us a little bit about creating that consumer awareness that you now offer this product. And then how is that merchandise being presented? You mentioned that it's going to be in about 145 stores. Talk a little bit about presentation of the merchandise in store and then also online, right? You want to maximize traffic and conversions to your digital site as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
That's a great question, Joe. I think it all starts with the full court press that we're putting with our marketing, advertising, and communications campaign to really inspire our athletes across our footprint. And we're doing that in a couple different ways. We have a strong push in advance of the launch which started with our earnings call. We launched a spot called Bounce on our investor relations site, which got a lot of great feedback. And then we take that over to having an e-commerce home site webpage takeover, which you'll see every time you pull up academy.com. And then we augment that with some things that we'll do on social media to make sure our customers are aware of that we have it in our stores. When they come into the stores, what they'll see is we've given this some of the best real estate in our stores that we can provide. It's right in the middle of our athletic pad. It's adjacent to Nike, which is our most important brand. So you get a nice 1-2 punch of Nike men's and women's, and then Jordan men's and women's right next to it. We made the decision to put all of our adult apparel and footwear together. That's not normally how we merchandise our stores, but we made an exception in this case because we really wanted to have a feel of a greater critical mass when customers see it in our stores. So not only does it have a great real estate presence, but also when you see the actual merchandise on the floor, it looks like we have more than what's actually there because we've collected everything in one place. Further to that, we also collaborated with the Jordan brand to provide things like mannequins and enhanced imagery to make sure that it really sings in front of our customer. On the equipment side, we're utilizing our impact area space with our racetrack fixtures and some of our end caps to make sure that our customers really just bump into it when they walk in the stores. There will be no way to miss it when you walk in our stores.
Well, that's certainly a sound approach given you noted that your consumers have been asking for this, right? This is in response to they're clamoring for the product. So you certainly want to put it in a prime real estate spot within the store locations and try to drive attention and traffic to it.
100%.
So continuing on that theme of brick and mortar, as you talked about the Jordan brand and how it's going to be merchandised in store at your locations, Academy recently announced that it's going to be opening its 300th store, and you're going to be doing so in a couple of new states. You're going to be opening stores in Pennsylvania and Maryland for the first time. With that in mind, I'd love to get your take on how brick and mortar retail fits into the company's strategy going forward.
Sure. We've got 3 pillars to our growth strategy, and those 3 are to grow our new store footprint, to build a more powerful e-commerce business, and also to drive our existing store comps. We've publicly stated that we're going to grow our store base by 160 to 180 stores within the next 5 years, and that includes 20 to 25 stores that will open this year. I think the exciting thing about our opportunity is that 80% of the population doesn't live within 10 miles of an Academy. So we've got an awesome opportunity to provide great value, newness, and a great experience to lots of neighborhoods and customers across the country.
So I'm going to ask you to kind of put your merchant hat on again, Matt, and think about, as you talk about some of those, wanting these stores to be part of the neighborhood and that, localization, right, of product assortment and why and how you go about trying to accomplish that at Academy.
Yeah, we do it in a couple ways. As a Texas-based retailer that's expanded into other areas, we've learned about the adjustments that we need to make to localize. And so I'll give you a couple examples. In Houston and Louisiana, where it's kind of our home base, we do a tremendous business with crawfish cookers. But in Kansas City, they may not even know what a crawfish cooker is. So we don't need to have crawfish cookers up there. We need to have smokers because they like to smoke meats and barbecue. And so we've kind of learned throughout the process to get some boots on the ground and find out what people want there. So some areas might need smokers, some might need pellet grills, and some might prefer to cook with gas. We get on the ground and we find those things out. We also look at things like affluence. You might have 2 stores that sell the same amount of baseball bats, but in one store, all they want are better end bats that are $300 and $400 and $500. In store B, they may not be able to give away a bat over $200, but they both do a tremendous amount of business. So we really study those markets and give them what they want. And so those stores can maximize their opportunity and customers are happy with that on the field. We also look at things like locations. Does a store have a soccer field nearby? Is it urban or rural? Is it near a stadium where we might need more collapsible furniture and drinkware? So that's important. We look at things like climate. As a Texas retailer, in the old days, we didn't have to carry a lot of outerwear. As now we're up in Ohio and Pennsylvania, we're going to need a much bigger outerwear shop to accommodate those customers as the weather gets colder in the wintertime. That also makes us look at things like how much do we allocate? When do we shut those allocations off? What is the timing of a new set? When do we mark down the goods? And then how wide is the assortment in some of those markets as well? So there's a lot of factors that we look at as we localize, and it's not just what the item is, it's how we manage the item in those stores as well.
Yeah, certainly a lot of things that you're thinking about. And, a follow-up to that, Matt, in terms of obviously you have your merchandising team and your buying team thinking about product, but I'm interested in kind of the internal collaboration with obviously your store operations teams and others that might be involved as you think about localization. Tell us how that goes about. You just rattled off all these different things that you're thinking about, and it seems to me that it's got to take the work of many, right? It's probably not just your merchandising team.
No, it's not just the merchandising team. It's how do we work with the space planning team to make sure that we have things merchandised in the correct locations in the store. It might be more important to have fishing in the front of the store in some of our Florida locations, but when we get to El Paso, where it's dry, you probably don't need fishing in front of the store. So it's not only what the merchants put in the store, but it's the space planning team saying, "Hey, we know that this is an important fishing store. This one isn't. So we're going to position the locations on the floor a little bit differently." We work with also the visual team to make sure that we display things better. In some stores up north, we're going to layer more on our mannequins. In the south, we might put more swimwear on the mannequins to make sure that we are showing the right things to the customers too. And we need to work with our store operations team to manage that throughout the season as well as things get sold. So it's a tremendous effort across multiple divisions.
Yeah, and I think it leads into what I want to talk about next, and that's talking a little bit about the Academy customer. And obviously, as you think about localization, it's you really, at the basis of that is understanding your customer and their needs, where they're at. As we record this in kind of early to mid-April, there's been a lot in the news about tariffs, and there's this uncertainty, macroeconomic environment. Consumers are, probably within good reason, a little reluctant right now, and a little cautious with their spending. I'm interested to get your take on the impact you're seeing that have on consumer behavior at Academy, and then conversely, how the brand is positioned as a retailer that offers customers value, could really be an opportunity for Academy. So, kind of a dual question there, Matt, but I'd love to get your input.
Sure. I think that we're positioned as a value retailer, and it's our responsibility to continue to pursue our mission of being the market leader when it comes to value. We want to deliver value to our customers wherever we can, and so we're going to do things like utilize price optimization. We're going to challenge our vendors to offset some of costs where that might be incurred, but we're going to continue to protect our position as a value leader in the space. And beyond the subject of things like tariffs, I still think that diversification out of China is something that's really important, but not just out of China, but to have a wide variety of customers where we source product from. Because it's not just about tariffs, it's about port strikes or government instability or natural disasters that can affect your supply chain and your product flow. So it's really important to have a wide base to mitigate that risk as a best practice every day.
Yeah, we don't need to go back any further than thinking about diversification of supply chain. Look at the pandemic, right?
That's right.
So we don't need to go too far back to see the tremendous impact that things such as, and you never know when something like that is going to happen. So diversification, to your point, is really important. We talked about some of the near-term goals, the importance of brick and mortar retail. I'd like to get you to talk a little bit about some of the growth opportunities that you're targeted and most excited about at Academy Sports.
Yeah, I think what we're most excited about is the ability to enhance our better and best level product that we carry in the store. We've always kind of been good at good, but now we're starting to flex our muscles to become good at better and best level product. I'll give you an example of that. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we were the place where you came in and you brought your son or your daughter and you outfitted them with their first bat for t-ball and their first glove and their first pair of t-ball pants. And then when they decided they didn't like t-ball 6 months later, you didn't break the bank, so you could come back in and you can get them all their soccer stuff. But let's say they decided to stick with t-ball and they progressed and their skill level got better. at eighth grade, we kind of didn't have the product that they needed anymore, and they would graduate to say, retailer B. Now we carry some of that better and best level products, so we can carry that athlete from their first pitch on the field all the way through being a college recruit. So what I'm excited about is to be able to service athletes on their entire journey and not just the beginning of the journey, which is where we were 5 or 6 years ago.
With that in mind, a quick follow-up, Matt, in terms of, and going back to the customer, does that entail identifying and targeting and going after new customer demographics, new cohorts, new segments? Maybe it's, further penetrating into your existing customer base and increasing wallet share from those. Maybe it's probably a combination of the two. Thinking about, as you talked about that, what does that mean in terms of your overall customer base and how that is addressed?
I think, look, we still stand at value at our heart. It's at least 50% of what we carry is going to be value-based product. So we haven't alienated any customers. And to your point, we're deepening our relationship with those customers. As they grow with us, they might stretch into better and best level product as well. And that's great. We want to give them the choice and the ability to do so. But it also allows us to attract new customers that may not have known that we carry some of that better and best level product. And we're welcoming them with open arms. And that's been a nice benefit to our business.
Yeah, and it's engendering that loyalty. To your point, they're able to, every to the example you gave about the T-ball, extending up further into the athlete's life, and you're creating repeat visits and repeated engagement with the consumer.
That's right.
Great. Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank Matt McCabe, again, the Executive Vice President and Chief Merchandising Officer of Academy Sports and Outdoors, for joining us on this episode of Total Retail Talks. Really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Optimove, the leader in positionless marketing, empowers marketers to instantly deliver real-time personalization. Boosting campaign efficiency by 88%, it allows marketers to do anything and be everything. Go to optimove.com/totalretail to get your first month free when buying Optimove's positionless marketing platform.